Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Crypto Scene Investigation, where we have a look at various cryptocurrencies and we ask ourselves, should we invest in it? Is it really worth investing? And we look at some analytics, the goods and the bads. Today we'll be looking at something called Epic Cash. Now, how I found out about this, I got a little message on my Patreon from one of my patrons. Look at that, we got one patron, 18. Anyway, so first of all, if you want to become a patron and you want to get fan requests, please do it through the advocate tier. That'd be fabulous. But if you do want to work with me personally and you are, let's say, one of the team members of a project, please message me privately and we can discuss something different. But anyway, so they didn't want their name to be exposed. So I have gone and just essentially taken a screenshot. So this is what they said. Hey bro, I like how you give a rundown on cryptos. Personally, would love to afford a small position in each one, but I can't. However, I have two projects I have recently become invested in long term and would love for you to do in-depth review of Epic Cash. Really take your time with this one, please. The better you can articulate this project's wealth of information, the happier I'll be. Appreciated. So basically, you don't have to rush to get it out. I'm very patient. Epic Cash claims to do a lot of epic things. Being that I recently found it myself, I'm trying to wrap my head around it, and someone explaining it in depth would probably really help me and possibly many others. So thank you very much for your thing, champ. So there's a lot to go through regarding this project. There are certain things which I don't understand, and in all honesty, when it comes to privacy coins, they are one of my weaknesses. Privacy coins, I struggle to understand them. I struggle to find analytics on them because they're privacy coins. So when it comes to things regarding privacy coins, your boy is definitely not an expert. I have done a video on Dero before, which is another privacy coin. I can link that up in the top right. And at some point I will be doing a video on the Conceal network. I do have that on the agenda, unless of course the person who wanted me to do it decides to back up, but I don't think they will. Yes, so we do have that on the agenda. So anyway guys, just quickly before anything else, you know the drill. Like, subscribe. If you want to comment, please make it beneficial, relevant, sincere, healthy, and all that other jazz. Do your own research, blah blah blah. Telegram. So they've got 1,900 members on their Telegram. I am a part of their Discord. Did ask a question in their Discord, which I still have not received an answer for. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to delete that message right now, and I'm going to leave their Discord as if I was never ever there. So let's move on from that jazz. Epic Cash, this is their main YouTube. So they've got a bunch of videos where you can listen, learn, and discover various things about them. Pretty nifty. Their marketing is some of the best that I've seen when it comes to pretty much any privacy coin. They are fantastic. They are very, very well articulated. This fellow called Uncle Vigilante, which is this fellow right here. He does some pretty impressive. He does some pretty impressive things in regards to his videos. So he's the guy on the left here, and he actually does a few things for these guys. So honestly, he's wonderful to listen to. He seems to be very honest and transparent, and he seems like a really friendly sort of guy. So you can definitely watch some of the things, and you can also see him here as well, Uncle Vigilante Insights, and you can see some other people talking about their insights regarding this project as well. As a part of my transparency for you guys, I will let you know that I haven't watched all of these videos. I haven't completely gone through their white paper word for word. So do be aware that with me doing this video, that it is not the best, but it's pretty much like things which probably most people may want to know. So they have this, so this is probably one of the better videos explaining who they are. So it's called Epic Cash Explainer Video Compilation. You can have a look through it. So they talk about, so these guys are essentially wanting to be like the actually private Bitcoin. So they sort of like compare themselves to Bitcoin. In fact, they actually have a max supply of 21 million, just like Bitcoin. So they're essentially like doing it as like a kind of coin for coin thing. which is quite fascinating. And they do have some other fantastic examples. One of them is that they actually compare these like two real old school cars to each other. And yeah, so don't remember which video that was, but they do have a video which shows that. I am going to show you guys this brief video though, not the whole thing, but just the start of it, because it's very fascinating to watch. So let's watch.
The problem is that since 1864, we've had a debt-based banking system. All our money is based on government debt. We cannot extinguish government debt without extinguishing our money supply. That's why talk of paying off the national debt without reforming our banking system is an impossibility. That's why the solution does not lie in discussing the size of the national debt, rather it lies in reforming our banking system. You want a new cause to embrace? You want to do something good for humanity? How about one simple reform that will fix most of the bad things in this world, like hunger, poverty, disease, and misery? This is the ultimate civil rights struggle, humankind's escape from serfdom.
So, I just wanted to show you guys that brief bit there. Which is really wonderful. So this fellow, he was essentially part of an interview with these guys, Bill Still, and during this interview he talks about like how much he really thoroughly enjoys the project. So he's been in the so Bill Still himself has been in the IT industry for a long time, working with various IT enterprises and like data storage, from what it sounded like. And he was talking about how pretty much amazing this whole Epic Cash sounds, because he actually brought up the fact that Bitcoin is that originally, like, they thought it was fully private and decentralized and everything, but then this thing started to come through the woodwork that you could actually go and like essentially track the people who were behind those transactions. So there was, I guess, a little bit of quote unquote controversy regarding that. But yeah, so Bill Still may be a part of the team right now. While watching this video, we don't actually see who Max Freeman is. I'm thinking that Max Freeman is a pseudonym, because it's sort of like maximum freedom. I don't know. That's just my personal thought. That's not based on fact. So this is their actual Explorer, and this confused me a little bit as to where this Explorer came from. I will show you guys why, because as you can see, I do actually have BSC scan up here and a bunch of my other sort of token scanners up here. And so this is the part where I'm sort of like, well, what the heck is kind of happening? I also try to look at this website via the Wayback Machine, to see if maybe I could find any sort of old school transactions from these guys. So apparently this coin, from what I hear, has been around since 2019, or maybe that's when they sort of started the project, Max Freeman and whoever else. But when I try to look at the stats regarding the Explorer from back then, so it was only from like late 2021, so December. It didn't show us anything. So I mean, maybe that's just like a mechanism which they have in place so that people won't actually see it. But I'm not entirely sure in regards to that. So you can actually see these blocks here, and when you actually go into the blocks, you can actually generally find out what they're sort of used for. So Coinbase, plain, transaction, Coinbase. It's interesting how they say Coinbase, because I don't believe that Epic is actually on Coinbase. So a bunch of these mention Coinbase, but Epic's not actually on Coinbase. So maybe there's something in here which I am missing. Also, I just wanted to mention one other thing to you guys. As a part of this commenting thing, if you do have any information which I do not share or express in this video, you're very welcome to comment, because remember, we are wanting to create a community which is based around truth. So yes, just sort of wanted to add that jazz in case you have any extra information which we don't currently know. So it says that the circulating supply is 13 million and the max supply is 21 million. Once again, in relation to Bitcoin. So from what I can see from the actual GitHub, it looks like these guys are open source, because you know they've actually got their whole entire kind of like public code and everything. So I think that looks pretty good from what I can see. So this is their white paper. Their white paper is one of the best and well-written white papers that I have ever come across. It is incredible. I like the way which it is structured. It has just essentially the right amount of words, the right amount of pictures. And I mean, as you can see, this is probably one of the most important pictures for you guys to see. So keep in mind that they are a proof of work token, just like Bitcoin. But one video they sort of explained, so they were talking about this lady, I think her name was Esther from memory. And then so she is from one of those sort of more poor third world countries. And they were describing how she can't afford for herself, and a part of like this epic system would mean that she'd be able to essentially have money for herself. How true that is, not entirely sure, but you know, Uncle Vigilante seems to be a pretty good boy. So this is the Bitcoin supply here in this sort of like whitish grayish thing. And this is the Epic launch. So they actually wanted to, I guess, align themselves with Bitcoin, and so I believe that Epic Cash and Bitcoin are both having their kind of like full supply reached by December 31st. So it would be nice to know maybe when the synchronization would be, because it's kind of hard to tell, because that's 2009 and that's 2140. So it's a bit hard to sort of tell from that jazz. They do have a few different types of mining ways, as you can see here. So RandomX, ProgPow, and Cookatoo. Yeah. So another thing is that a part of these guys' protocol is actually built on, I believe it is the Mimblewimble system, which is the Litecoin, I believe, is the other project which uses this the same sort of protocol. So yeah, that's just their Telegram community. So this is the Epic mining community. So these guys are quite a small community from what I can see. We'll just have a brief look at some of their Reddit stats. So they were sort of around the double, and then they suddenly went to the quadruple just within that short period of time. I'm not exactly sure what sort of happened there, but I imagine that's probably when they sort of properly launched, and people would have gotten excited around it. Right? But as you can see, their sort of growth has not been wildly exponential, but it's been steady. They've had a steady growth. So comments per day, so you know, just a few, and then they had this huge boom on December 8th, 2021. I do believe that actually aligns up with their oh my gosh, sorry guys, with their thing here. So December 8th, yes. So they actually reached above $6 during that sort of time, but they were sort of sitting around the 0 point something mark. But keep in mind, this chart only shows from April 2020, so it doesn't actually show the whole 2019 jazz. And they've had no pre-mine. We will have a look at one of these websites up here to actually show what happened during their launch. But let's continue looking at this jazz here. So yeah, so they would have had a lot of comments talking about that sort of day, because it would have been a huge day for these guys. And so 2019, so a bunch of posts there, a few extras. So they've sort of had a few kind of I guess maybe ups and downs in terms of those postings. So that's okay. So this is their actual Reddit itself, so you can comment, so they're not trying to hide anything, so they seem super transparent. This is actually showing their Epic Cash nodes, so it says unconfiscatable, privacy enhanced cryptocurrency for everyone. And then so they sort of show how many countries they actually had those nodes in, how many cities they had them in. So they went from 58 in 2020 all the way up to 115 in 2022. And then they have now got 1,700 cities which they have those cash nodes in. So kappa to those guys. So there's a few sort of confusing-ish things here. So this was the source code where I showed you guys their GitHub. Their link tree, it is a huge dude. So if you want to learn anything about these guys, this is probably the main place where you want to find everything. So this is sort of where I found a bunch of things for these guys as well. So that is pretty cap high. Their roadmap, I don't actually think I have their roadmap tab. Yes, this thing here, cool. So this is that it is their roadmap. One thing which is a bit annoying regarding their actual roadmap is how they don't actually they don't sort of tell us, number one, what has been implemented and what is to be implemented. So that's annoying to me, to be honest. I wouldn't really call this a roadmap. I'd call this more of like a frequently asked questions section. Like, what does this do, and what do you do with this? So this is, or you could even call this kind of like a, I don't want to say white paper, but like this is kind of like reminiscent of some of the other projects which I've done videos on, of like what they call their quote unquote white papers. Yeah, so that's kind of a bit annoying. Now, here is what sort of caught me off guard, right? So they have this contract which is a part of their Binance Smart Chain, right? So that kind of caught me off guard a little bit, because I was like, hang on a moment, like when I first saw this project, I thought that these guys were a token, right? Because most tokens have these contracts here, but it says that they're actually a coin. So I'm like, wait, what? And then so I had to look at another privacy coin, which I did mention, but they don't have anything regarding the Binance Smart Chain or the Ethereum Smart Chain. So I'm like, why do they have their, so you can go to these guys Explorer over here, and you can also go to these guys Explorer as well, but they also show the Binance Smart Chain as one of their explorers. So I'm like, are they a token or are they a coin? So from what I understand from their various videos which I've actually seen, is that they are trying to be a coin. In fact, during the videos, I saw nothing mentioned regarding tokens. I saw nothing about tokens. So the fact that they have, the fact that they actually show that they have this sort of contract regarding the Binance Smart Chain is confusing. If anybody does want to comment on that, because maybe we don't need to think about the Binance Smart Chain when it comes to this, but the fact that they have it, and the fact that a bunch of the stats regarding this, I mean, a total supply of 21 million epic? I don't know, man. And then the official website and everything, I don't know, dude. It's just, maybe somebody's created like a fake token and decided to upload it and message the CoinMarketCap team. I don't know what's going on with that. They could be an imposter, do not know. But the stats did not look very good when it actually comes to that jazz. So we'll have a look at some of the exchanges which it's actually available on. So Vitex and Citex. Do not know if I'm saying those names right. So in terms of the top exchanges, the only one between those two which is on the top exchange is Citex, and that is at number 263. CoinMarketCap does actually rate each exchange, and then they say that they give them a score from 0.0 to 10, and they get 1.6 in terms of their exchange. And as you can see, in terms of the volume graph, that's their volume. Yeah, so I don't know if I can really trust them. I believe that, well, what is interesting is that I believe that they are actually a centralized exchange, which is fascinating. Also, one thing about these guys and their project, Epicash, is that they talk about how you don't actually need to sell your Epic Cash in order to do something with it. So they say that you can be your own bank and you can borrow against yourself. Now that confused me. I don't know. I didn't really do a heavy amount of research into that, but apparently you can do it, and I don't know how the heck that actually works. But they say it's possible. So yeah. So it says volume in 24 hours. I mean, it seems like quite a bit of volume if you ask me. But yes. Where else do we look? So these guys, from what I have seen, are actually a centralized exchange, as I was saying. Next place, Vitex. So they say that Vitex is a decentralized exchange developed by a company registered in the British Virgin Islands. Is it decentralized then? So BSC scan. I went ahead and look at this. So we have a 99% wallet holder. And they said that they hold 20 million of that. And then so to me, I think of that as unlocked, right? So that was kind of confusing. And so I opened this tab. So this is the token holder chart. As you can see, like the next holder's 0.0 from what we can see, other accounts. And if we have a look here, I mean, like the next one is 0.01%. So it looks really bad. If I was to purely base this off it's only this Binance Smart Chain Tokenomics, I would say don't invest. I would say run away. This project is awful. It is the worst thing. But because these guys are a coin and because we can't actually see the extra information behind the coin, it's hard to say exactly how trustworthy these guys are. They say that they have not had a pre-mine, but remember, because these guys are a privacy coin, we cannot see it. We cannot see it. You can say that they haven't had a pre-mine, but you can't see it. All right, cool. So that is probably in order for you to be able to trust the community. But this is what BSC check says. So holders 113, which is interesting because it says that it's on 3,000 watch lists. This is another reason why I say probably not necessarily. It's not necessarily the best idea to be actually to be able to actually trust in their token itself. So they say ownership not renounced, 99% of those holdings, dev tokens 99%. I mean, they don't have a buy and sell tax. I mean, they say it seems scam according to BSC check. Token sniffer says that it gets a 0 out of 100. It says that the source does contain a mint function, which could potentially allow new tokens to be created and dumped. But I mean, obviously they have from what I can see is that they have already released their full total supply of 21 million. Because I mean, this is literally holding 20 million of that supply, and the next highest wallet holds 3,000, and the next one after that is 500. Like, so there is a fair amount, but these guys also don't have a liquidity pool. So I'm sort of wondering how they can actually buy and sell off this. I mean, maybe this was just like a thing which maybe the guys from Epic Cash were trying to do, and then they realized that, oh crud, this isn't going to work. So the other similar token contracts, we've got all of these listed here, but I kind of like disregarded all of them except for one, because all of them had the token not being sellable, right? But that could be because, I don't know, maybe like the owner did something which, you know, they couldn't see or predict, and then suddenly, you know, the token becomes unsellable, right? So is this mini Sisler? I'm not sure what that is. But their token was sellable, but they also got like this is 0 out of 100. So creator address blacklisted for prior scams. So yes, that's been blacklisted for those things as well. So yeah, I think in terms of this sort of whole jazz, the token just does not look great. And when I opened this on Moonarch, I literally shouted. I was like, "Whoa, holy beans! What?" So yeah, when I saw 99, when I saw a red bubble like this, I've never seen anything like that before. Where they have that much of a red bubble like that. That is massive. And once again, liquidity is $2. I've never seen that before, and 100% of that $2 has been unlocked. So carpi to these guys. Carpi means good in Tadeo, by the way, in case you guys are wondering what the heck I'm saying. And there is a bit of liquidity. Yep, 0% liquidity. Yep, a little bit. And this token's age, it says that this one was done in 2021, which to me, once again, is probably something different from what we think that it may actually be. Seeing as these guys have been around for longer than that, because as you can see, this literally goes back to the 4th of, April 2020. Yes, so, I mean, yeah. I think that this is probably a fake imitator, to be honest. That's what I'm thinking with these guys. But yeah, once again, I don't know if we can actually confirm that, because I can't tell. Maybe if the people from Epic Cash can comment, maybe Uncle Vigilante himself, come comment on here, homie. Yeah. So so these are some of their Twitter stats. In the last 30 days, they've gotten 29 followers. Good work, these guys. So they say joined June 2019. In terms of their posts, I mean, it seems like a pretty standard Twitter account. I have not seen any what I would consider paid bot comments. So that's a good sign. Good on these guys. So they look like they're being very authentic in regards to that. So in terms of their Google Trends over the actual past 5 years, was sort of basic. So as you can see, they definitely had more of a pump during August sort of 2019, because that would have been when they would have properly officially been released, right? And then so they also had a huge amount of search during 2020, so sort of May to July kind of type thing. So in the past 12 months, let's have a look at how much they've been searched then. So they were searched quite a bit during December 12th to 18th. And remember, if we actually jump back here, so that actually aligns up with that. So 12th to the 18th would have been there, around there. Yep, around there-ish. To the 18th, which would have been around there. So yeah, so $6 to $5, currently trading at $1.98. Just so that you guys are aware. Where were we? Here we are. And we'll have a look over the last 90 days to see if there's sort of been any sort of trends here. Not so much. So remember, that would have been sort of coming down from their sort of big hype moment, and then they had another sort of thing in February, but it looks like they haven't sort of been searched too much around the last 90 days. We'll just briefly have a look at the last 30 days. Yeah. So they have been sort of searched a little bit lower. So if let's say you were to invest, now could possibly be a better time to invest if you are wanting to invest into Epicash, seeing as they sort of had a bit of a kind of dip around here. We'll look at the last 1 month. So it looks like, yeah, it's sort of been a bit lowish around that kind of area. So a lot of people sold during this sort of part. And then so people are actually buying a little bit more now. So yeah, you guys, you guys do what you want. Remember, not financial advice. Moving on. This is their website. So Epicash, decentralized, privacy enhanced cryptocurrency developed by a growing volunteer community. So this is one of their things here, and these are a bunch of buzzwords when it comes to the privacy community. Okay. So when I say buzzwords, it doesn't mean that these aren't actually true, what we are looking at. It just means that you can say these things. So no pre-mine, no ICO, no corporation, no executives, no venture capital, no government affiliations, and no physical presence. So yes, we can't actually see the percent or the amount which is being shared. I don't know who the community is. It would probably be nice maybe if they actually had on their website, like, so one thing which Conceal does when it comes to their privacy coin, which I actually quite like, is that, and this is not a shill, don't think I'm shilling, okay? Just because I may have a video coming up for these guys. So one thing which I like about Conceal, but I'm only comparing them because they're also another privacy coin, is that on their actual website you can see a bunch of the various members who are behind the project. I mean, they do have their Twitters. It doesn't really make it much better because they don't actually show their LinkedIn, so you can't really kind of be like, hey, this team is officially doxed, right? But with this right here, it would be probably nice to maybe understand a bit of background for the guys who are actually working on it. But keep in mind, they do have that GitHub in regards to their source code, so it's not all doom and gloom. Because from what I can see, this definitely looks open source, which I think is wonderful. Because open source is a good time. Because when it's closed source behind closed doors, then that's where they cannot get called out as easily. But from what I have seen, I can't see anything which is so far which is actually calling these guys out as being sussy boys or bad boys. So that is a good time as well. You can also download this on Windows, Mac, and Linux, which is cool. I do wonder how it sort of works for the phone though. I'm surprised that I haven't seen anything for iPhone or Android, because one of their selling features was talking about that lady from that third world country. So I wonder how that goes. Private Bitcoin for the people. BTC is not Bitcoin. How about that? BTC is a surveillance coin. I haven't heard that term. I did hear it during the video between Bill, whatever his name was, and Uncle Vigilante, whatever. But I didn't. I still don't quite know what a surveillance coin is. I think maybe surveillance coin being that. I think that maybe it's sort of like maybe a mock term in the sense that you can actually see what's going on. So you're kind of being surveilled to some extent. Yeah. So Epicash is the original Bitcoin standard updated with the revolutionary Mimblewimble privacy protocol. Remember, that is something which I believe that Litecoin has also used. Ensuring complete anonymity, but I do believe that these guys are actually better than Litecoin from what I have seen as well. I don't know much about Litecoin though, but from what I've seen, it seems like these guys are probably more better than them. Yeah, I don't know if Litecoin is a privacy coin though. They may be. Epicash, decentralized, confidential, hard money that can't be controlled or stopped. Financial freedom for the masses. Beautiful. I do wonder how many transactions per second these guys can do though. So one other thing I did see with these guys is that they did call themselves, I think it's on here somewhere. Is it here? No. They call themselves kind of like the virtual silver currency, whereas Bitcoin is like the virtual gold, right? So they say that these are their partners. I don't think that they'd lie about this, but I do wonder why they'd be partnered with Polygon. They say Polygon, and they're on the Binance Smart Chain. If this is them, okay, once again, I don't think that this is them. But it's sort of like, why would you partner with Polygon, or why would Polygon partner with you guys? Because you guys are like your own coin. So yeah, I don't know who these other dudes are. I mean, Kadena, have heard of Kadena. And these other ones, not so much. But yeah, I'm sort of wondering about this sort of partnerships and what that is in regards to. So investors, okay, so you can see the sort of Vitex. Oh, they do have a swap. Look at that. They have a swap and they have a pair. Is that this pair though? Because this could be very important. So where's that? Where is that name? So that was that is a different contract, folks. That is a different contract. We have learned something. So actually, but this is regarding ECR though. So that is a different thing altogether. So essentially, a part of the epicenter, or with Epicash, they actually want to have this whole entire ecosystem for what different parts, I guess different moving parts, right? So like they want to have like one thing. I think it's the EUSD, which is a part of their like stable coin thing. And then so they'll have their Epic coin, which is used for one process, and then ECR, and then EIOU. Sorry, EIOU. We'll see if we can. I'll see if I can briefly find on their white paper where they actually describe what they're actually talking, or what I'm talking about, and what they're talking about, because it could be good for you guys to actually see exactly what I am referring to. So Mimblewimble once again, emission schedule, mining, mining contributions, conclusion. No, it doesn't look like it's on here. But I believe that if you actually go to their YouTube sources, so you guys can do it yourselves, because I'm not going to show you on this video, but you can do your own research regarding this. But actually go to their Epic Cash thing. You can go either using the introduction thing. So this is their Uncle Vigilante video. But you can either join him on there, or actually have a look through that compilation video which I mentioned right at the beginning, and you should be able to find something regarding what I'm referring to with them making the whole entire ecosystem. So EIOU, Epic, ECR. Cool. And EUSD. What did I tell you, fam? Hey, look. Oh, it's up here. Gosh, so annoying. Epic, fungible P2P, electronic cash, secure, scalable, decentralized. So talk about the whole entire thing. Freeman proof of work. Max Freeman. What is it? I was going to say consequence, but coincidence? I think not. Decentralized, scalable, so you can have a read through this whole entire shebang. I mean, it is one of the, as I say, like this is one of the cleanest, well-written websites that I've ever come across, according to any project. A little bit like that one project which I did a video on called oh, I'm even invested in them. They've got like a white website. I can't think of the name. And stakes, ECR tokens to unlock an EUSD credit line. So this talks about staking your ECR as well, which is a bit confusing in regards to their staking. So I know that Conceal does cold staking, but with these guys, I didn't really look into their staking side of things, but the fact that they are a proof of work token, so user deposits epic collateral, so that might come under this token possibly. That might come under that, but not entirely sure. Keep in mind that when it actually comes to this jazz as well, is that this is their Epic Cash deployer. So some tokens, from what I've seen, they have this kind of like this massive wallet called their deployer wallet. But yeah, whether or not that can officially be rug pulled because it's not actually properly tied to a smart contract, makes some things questionable. Yes, so they talk about the risk and reward, seniorage. That is an interesting word. How are we compliant? Oh, they also talk about how they are actually compliant as well. That might be in their white paper or maybe somewhere else. So once again, I would have deleted the tab because I got overwhelmed by how many tabs were actually up there because this was going to be long. But they did talk about how they are going to be compliant as well, or so they're either going to be compliant or they are compliant. One of those two. And when I sort of thought of that, I was like, can an Epic coin actually properly be compliant though? And the reason why I say can it ever actually properly be compliant is because the whole entire purpose is to conceal transactions, right? So in terms of them actually being, there we go, this is it, compliance. Epic is compliant with current and future regulations. So a part of this, the protocol sets a new bar for the Howey test. So if you guys don't know what the Howey test is, by the way, the Howey test is essentially the SEC's way of determining whether or not something is a security. So it has to come under 4 categories. So one of them is like I think it's like, can you buy and sell it? I'm not going to go through the rest, but it's essentially the test to find out whether or not it comes under SEC regulations, and if it does, then it probably opens up a whole entire world or box of things which you probably don't want to jump into. So yes, users interact directly with the blockchain, no custodial, yeah, blah blah blah. We sort of know that jazz. So I do wonder how they stay compliant. If anybody knows, because I don't know how a privacy coin can actually stay as compliant. I mean, I think that's one reason why people probably stopped investing in Monero, right? Yes. Well, I say stopped investing, but there's probably still people investing in Monero. I mean, you had that couple who got caught with like $4.6 billion worth of Bitcoin. So one EUSD equals at least $1 worth of Epic. Interesting. So they're actually almost tying that to themselves. What? A real-world medium of exchange. So $1 worth of Epic Cash, but not $1 worth of the US dollar. That is peculiar, to say the least. OneSwap. Haven't heard of these guys. How much liquidity do they have? $6,000. Cool. Done. Moving on. So this is a list of their allies and advocates. Whether or not these are actually confirmed, you guys can be the judge. But I'm sort of wondering, so a part of these allies and advocates, they say Epicenter DAO is proud to support individuals and organizations that espouse similar ideas. If you don't know what the word espouse means, because I had to look it up myself, it's essentially like support, adopt, believe in, kind of like the same thing. all the same kind of point of views, right? So advocacy groups, so you've got a whole bunch of different advocacy groups regarding these things. Free speech, wonderful. And they also mention the country which they are from, so kapai to them. Educational institutions, it's interesting. It would probably be nice if we could maybe see like a bit of an example of like of like where / why they're mentioned in there. I think that'd be pretty good, to be honest. Independent media, DuckDuckGo. Woo! I like DuckDuckGo. That's cool. But you guys see me use Google, so yeah. And Brave. Hey, Brave. I don't earn any rewards from Brave, by the way. You'll probably think that I'm like an idiot for doing that. But anyway, moving on. The Epicenter ecosystem, composable. Components for decentralized finance, how the components interact. I do wonder how these guys are better for the economy as, or sorry, the what is it called? You know, like the world. I don't know what it's called. Ecological thing, ecosystem. As you guys can probably tell, I made this video on the same day as the one which I uploaded before this. Scarcity, yield, elasticity. So confidentiality, epic, community, ECR, transparency, EUSD is unstoppable money that can't ever be seized, frozen, or blacklisted by anyone. Whew. Sounds fantastic when we have a read of that sort of thing. So, coming to CSI's work in progress, likely inaccurate project checklist. This is where we give a rating of the actual thing. You guys have been absolute troopers for making it all the way to the end of this video. Unless you skip forward because you were like, man, this dude's talking too much. So, let's have a look. Functional and clean website / media. They are one of the best that I've ever seen. Very, very good. Threatening big boy holders. I'm gonna tick not applicable for these guys. Now you're probably like, whoa, hang on, but wasn't there these dudes from, you know, like these holders from BSC Scan? What about them? I don't think we should really be considering this. I mean, the comments, like there's gonna be a bunch of spam comments. Be careful. Click. Ooh, I want to click a random link. That sounds awesome. Be careful, anyone can create his scam token on honeypotcontract.com. Alright, everybody head there right now. No, I'm kidding, don't do that, it could be bad, but I might look at another time. Yeah, so in terms of non-threatening big boy holders, because this is a privacy coin, I'm gonna tick them as not applicable for this, because we cannot see. Okay, we cannot see, so we don't know. Control, yep. So they don't have any paid bot comments. They're wonderful. 10 out of 10, team, fabulous. Is the token distribution fair? They said that there was no pre-mine, but once again, we can't see this sort of thing. So I'm gonna tick them as not applicable because we can't see those sort of stats. Solid roadmap. Nah, I wasn't really a fan of their roadmap, to be honest. I mean, their roadmap didn't really tell us like what was upcoming, what still needs to be done. So I'm going to give them like a 3 for that. They did have a bunch of information. In fact, I'm going to drop them down to a 2 because, yeah, like we didn't really see what they actually had upcoming, what is actually being released, what they have what they intend for the future, why we should still invest in them in regards to that. I mean, like their kind of idea is like invest and it will get bigger kind of thing. And yeah, so in terms of their roadmap, I give them about a 2 out of 10 because it doesn't look great. I'm going to give them a 1 out of 10 for their trusted like centralized exchanges and DEX listings, to be honest. Because I mean, we have these two, right? So one seems to be centralized, the other one calls itself decentralized. Neither of them are actually in the top list of spot exchanges, derivatives, or I didn't actually check DEX exchanges. We'll just quickly see if we can find that. Is it Citex and Vitex? Here we go. So this one here, July 2019. Isn't that fascinating? Isn't that just coincidental? Hey? Yeah, so in terms of this, I would say that if these guys want to look a bit better, probably see if they can maybe join like some of the things. Like they say that they have Polygon as one of their partners, but they aren't on Dodo. Like, what? Yeah, so I don't know, dudes. I would say that these guys should probably try to aim for a bit higher as well. If they try to aim for a swap, that'll probably make them look more suspicious, but it could maybe help in regards to liquidities, but there may be a reason why they don't want to do that. But yeah, I feel like maybe the Epic teams should see if they could list somewhere else. But I give them a 1 because we don't know much. Yeah, I can't trust them. Is the team doxed? It's a privacy coin. I'm gonna do not applicable for that. Team interviews and or AMAs. Now there was the interview kind of between that guy Bill and Max Freeman. I did try to see if I could find some others. There was another one with some other guy. Don't know who he was, don't know what he had to do with the project, but apparently when I read one of the comments, because it was like a whole 40-minute thing, which I just wasn't going to watch, which you guys are going to watch. Hey yo, 45 minutes I don't know what he had to do with the project, because I didn't watch the full thing. I sort of started watching and I was like, oh my gosh, like this. And then so I read one of the comments, and the comments said this dude is just like a Bitcoin maximalist. So I'm like, all right, that doesn't really help us very much. So in terms of team interviews and or AMAs, I'm going to give them about a 4-star for that. The reason why I give them a 4-star, because remember, Uncle Vigilante, don't know if he's actually part of the project, but from the seams of it, he may be. And the other one was that we did actually get to hear Max Freeman's voice, who I think is kind of like almost kind of like a mock-up of Satoshi Nakamoto. So yeah. Any relevant team experience? We don't know. We can't see anything. So I'm gonna give them a 1 for relevant. Well, no, they do actually have that GitHub though. So they do have the open source GitHub. So we have seen some level of a result from these guys. We've seen some level of a result, but we haven't seen anything else. So I'm going to give them a 3 in terms of relevant team experience, because we don't actually see enough. But the marketing was also good. So you know what? Let's give them a 4. And the website was good. So yes, we'll give them a 4, but that's because we can't actually see their relevant team experience. So I'm going to give them a 4. I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt with this, because we can actually see some of their products working. Good. Anyway, moving on. Any notable partnerships? Can't confirm those partnerships, but we had Kadena, and we had Polygon, and there was like that other one which I didn't know the name of. So I'm going to give them, whether or not those are actually confirmed partnerships, I can't confirm them, but I'm going to give them about a 3 for partnerships. So these guys get higher than some of my other projects. They get a 3-star, a 34 out of 70, which I don't know what that looks like in terms of out of 10. So think of it as like a 3.4 out of 7. So that makes it like a. So I just did some wild quick maths, and so it's about a 4.8 out of 10 for those who are interested. Yeah. I might actually possibly see if I can add like another box to be able to represent that, because that could be probably helpful for future. Let me know what you guys think, because I'm potentially thinking of doing it. Anyway, guys, 48 minutes in. This has been my video. Thank you very much for watching. I hope that you learned something here today. Yeah, so once again, if you guys do like my thing, there we go. Please consider liking and subscribing. And if you do want to comment, please have a read of that. You've already had a read of it. That's like the 3rd time you're going to be reading it. If you do want to request for projects, please consider doing the exact same thing from what this homie did, because he's one of my advocates. So I thank you very much for suggesting this project, Mr./Mrs., because you want to remain anonymous. I think I might have said he already, so I'm sorry if I've already exposed too much information. But yeah, so anyway guys, this has been wonderful. Once again, hope that you've appreciated it, and hopefully see you for the next one.